GinaNews with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, before we get into it, and there's a lot to get into, I just wanted to announce real quick that it is that time of year again for the Children's Hospital LA to do their Girl Talk program that I MC and sort of spearhead getting their prizes every year. This year, there's 20 girls around ages 10 to 16 years old. They do a really cool self-esteem camp through the Children's Hospital. They've been through a lot in their young lives. I don't care how many times they do this. I get very choked up every time I talk about it. And they need prizes. They do a big graduation. They do a fashion show. I MC it. It's so much fun. And they get to take home bags and bags of goodies because of you every year. So thank you so much. Just follow me on Twitter. It'll be pinned to the top of my tweets. At GinaGrad, GinaGrad. They need 20 of the same item, headbands, pencils, nail polish, whatever you think young girls would like. And that goes through October 23rd. And thank you so much. All right. Horrible transition. Apologize in advance. Pittsburgh Pirates reliever Felipe Vazquez has been arrested for soliciting a child for sexual acts, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
We're looking at him. He does not look like the type of gentleman that would engage in such behavior.
In fact, it might not be him. Oh, wait, it was. He has
left-handed, Adam. Left-handed.
Oh, yeah. See, lady?
And they caught him.
Brother?
Yeah, had lots of identifying tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Agents from the FDLE and Pennsylvania State Police.
Yeah, people who engage in crime shouldn't have so many tattoos because it's.
Right.
I know it kind of comes with the territory, but it's super identifiable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they took him into custody on Tuesday morning on one count of computer pornography, solicitation of a child, and one count of providing obscene materials. What were the obscene materials to minors, you ask? Well, the FDLE said its investigation began last month when agents became aware of a sexual relationship, and a 13-year-old female victim who's now 15. The two continued having this relationship over texts, and the child received a video in July from him in which, quote, he is shown performing a sex act. Vazquez also sent texts insinuating that...
How's that work?
He's whacking himself off.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe there was someone else involved. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always still confused on sodomy because that doesn't mean anal. And then performing a sex act. Hey, I'll take it because I prefer it be known as that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Would have had a much better high school resume.
Performing a sex act
10
several
million
times.
sex acts in my teens.
Twice a day.
Yeah.
So following the arrest, police seized his computers and his electronic devices, and he's going to be extradited to Florida for this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird. It's a weird a part that's always weird about the relationship is the sexual part is gross, but then the part where you're sending forget-me-nots and texts and penny for your thoughts.
Mundane messages.
Well,
How
I
is
got my
calculus?
My seventh grade counselor's up my ass. Things are pretty tough.
Girl, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yuck.
That's probably. Oh, I think they took all of his signage down too in Philadelphia.
Whatever.
I like to participate in conversations, but I got nothing here.
Well, don't make a puppet after this guy. Not funny. And then also, there's always the silver lining to this dark cloud. He was a victim at some point. That's how it works. You gotta somebody put their hands on you.
That's a thin silver lining, man.
It's a thin silver lining.
Yeah.
But yes.
Well, Alex Trebek revealed Tuesday that he needs to undergo a second round of chemotherapy for his pancreatic cancer. The Jeopardy host had a successful round over the summer, was very optimistic, but he says cancer is mysterious, and he's since lost a lot of weight. I think it was 12 pounds in a week, and his numbers are now higher than they were when he was first diagnosed in March.
Hey, back to the quiet dignity part. Although I like the guy, although I don't know the guy, maybe I don't like the guy. I'm just saying I can't go on this yo-yo ride of beating cancer. Now it's back and
right,
beating
Brian?
it again.
It's
just
do it or don't.
Play it a little closer to the vest.
Well, I think pancreatic doesn't give you a ton of time.
No, I know, but then I was so excited because he beat it. He was like the odds are against him, but he's going to fight it. And then he said, "Good news."
It's worse than ever.
Now it's bad news again.
Yeah, and it was recent. This all has only been going on since March, too. But he's still hosting, apparently, because it's keeping his spirits up.
He sent out a very positive message like a few months ago going, kind of, they said we couldn't do it, but we did kind of a thing. Like,
So you can't imagine that unless you're in that place. What would you do?
Well,
with your public, with your audience, would you be telling everything that happened, or would you just kind of?
He'd be complaining about the orderlies.
But I do think, like, aren't the doctors, like Brian would know this, like they're probably caution you about being overly optimistic with your family members or your fans or whatever. Like, do not say you beat this until we've made sure it's clear. We can check it in 6 months and we know it's clear, whatever it is.
That's interesting. So, Jeff, I don't know if you know, I have brain cancer, and I was diagnosed 10 years ago. Oh, and I to your point, I made the choice very early to be very public with my therapy and treatment and everything, because I for two reasons. One, practically, I didn't want someone to, I got recognized once in a while out in public. I didn't want someone to see me like 6 months down the road and go, Jesus Christ, what happened to Brian? You know what I mean? Like that would have been just, jarring or whatever, to go away for a few months and then come back and be way, way worse. But also, I couldn't imagine going through that alone. Like, just the outpouring of support from our listeners and our fans who were like, just sending messages of goodwill or, tips or whatever. Like, it's nice to have that community around you. I'm sure Alex Trebek has that times 1,000, you know what I mean?
Right.
So having that goodwill from people you don't even know really buoys you.
But then what if it's another family member? That to me is a completely different thing. Let's say you had a child or somebody going through something. Would you publicly tell everybody?
Well, it's up to the person going through it, I would imagine.
Well, it's like your 4-year-old.
I have no strong feelings about it. My only input is this. When somebody gets pregnant and they've been trying to get pregnant or they've miscarried or blah, 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 they don't say they're pregnant the day they find out they're pregnant. They go, let's wait, like, to make sure before we announce this, before we could have a miscarriage or something like that. I'm just saying that's kind of my thing with I'm in remission or whatever. Yes. And I don't know it. I wish him well. I sound like a douche. What I'm saying is I did hear some really positive stuff out of him recently, and I was like, oh, good, he beat it.
To your specific point about remission and beating it and blah blah, people say to me all the time, and it's out of, they want it to be true. They say, oh, you're good after I started getting better. Oh, you're good now. Oh, you're good. You're good. Right. It's like, I'll always have a brain tumor. Yeah. I'll have a brain tumor right now. I'll have it forever. God willing, I'll have it for many, many years, and you'll hear from me for many, many decades. But no, I'm not in the clear, as it were. But yeah, whether or not what you choose to share is up to you.
All right, what else you got, Gina Grant?
Well, while he's busy rehabbing, Kevin Hart has been hit with a $60 million lawsuit over his 2017 sex tape. Doesn't ring a bell? Well, let me jog your memory.
Ooh.
Montia Sabag.
He's performing a sex act.
She was the model who appeared in the video.
If it's him beating off alone, I'm going to be devastated.
Claims in court documents that she was secretly recorded having sex with him in a Vegas hotel room. She accuses Kevin of conspiring with his friend TJ Jackson to set up a hidden video recording device in the room for the purpose of obtaining tremendous financial benefit for himself by garnering publicity for his irresponsible tour. Kevin has claimed that his friend...
Hold on. He was... Wait a minute.
This is a few months ago. How long ago?
Like a year and a half.
A year and a half, okay. Yeah.
He was going to...
She says he was going to gain tremendous financial benefit, basically using it as some sort of promotional tool, like if it leaked or something.
Like Kim's sex tape.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Well, it'll
take him from the number one comedian to the number one comedian.
So Kevin claimed that his friend tried to extort him. He had no knowledge of the recording. TMZ says one of Montia's lawyers recently, quote, made a secret financial demand to Kevin, asking for low six figures. Kevin completely rejected it. Sources say Kevin is adamant about not paying a penny and insists there will be no settlement.
I tell you guys to never get successful, and you always answer can do before I finish saying
already
that.
Doing it.
I've been listening.
It's over now. Like, you can't bribe anybody. You buy a hot car, you're wrapped around a off the side of a mountain. Everybody sues you.
Gone are the days of secretly recording your trysts in a Vegas
That's
hotel.
right. Paying the chick off or just paying some drifter
do you
to
have
kill her.
nothing's come out about you, right?
No,
Okay.
I get sued by people.
Gina, when I see the news.
People attempt to sue me all the time.
I got to tell you mine. So we were doing the biography, did a thing on me, and did biography, and so they did a second one, and we're going through all these old tapes of mine, VHSs from going all the way back to high school and college, and I found this one videotape, and I go, "This is perfect," because you're always afraid that somebody's going to come up with something that you did. Chappelle, his bit on that is fantastic. His latest special.
The Sticks and Stones special,
sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So I thought, I've always gone, what the hell is going to come out about me? Have I done anything? And I finally found the tape. And this is how sad I am. So most guys, their tapes that are coming out, it's like Kevin is being taped having sex. I have a tape from college. I lived by myself in an apartment. And I set the video camera up. Hidden camera, right?
And fuck the shit out of that puppet.
Yeah, hang on a second. I invite the girl over that I dated, taken her on 2 dates. So she and I are sitting on the couch together. I have my arm around her. And what's the videotape of? I had secretly radio controlled one of the dummies that I had displayed in my apartment. And so the dummies, my control is hidden on the side of the couch, and I'm moving it so the dummy starts moving all by itself, and she, of course, gets freaked out.
Sure.
And that's my horrible hidden camera tape from
Traumatized
college.
her.
Yeah.
That's how sad. I had a dummy that I videotaped.
Was that a second? They did
They did a second one. What they did was, it's really interesting what they've done with the biographies now, because that voice of God, the announcer.
I love that
he
show.
Went to, but that was with the old ones.
Right.
And then when in the 5th grade, she decided to be a dancer. So they don't do that anymore. Now they just tell the story with the interviews, and there's no announcer anymore. So apparently, Biography, which has been on the air in different forms on different networks, different places since the 70s. Something like that?
A&E?
Yeah, it was A&E. Before that, I think it was CBS, whatever, same show. But they shelved all of those, and now they've redone a bunch of them, and a handful of their successful ones they redid. So I think they redid me, they did Foxworthy, and they also did one other comedian. I can't remember who it was. But then, of course, they're doing all new ones, too.
That's the show. Those are, it's kind of like, for me, it's like a UFC fight. Like, if I'm just skimming along and there's a UFC fight, I'll just stop.
Right.
And I'm that way with the biographies. Whoever it is, whatever the line is, whatever the profession is, it just shows that everyone, or scratch that, interesting people have interesting stories. It's never what you just think it was. Oh, his dad was a ventriloquist, so he used to take him on the road, and then he gave him his puppets, and now he's doing it.
Is that not what happened?
It's never that. It's always something super interesting.
Chris Farley was the other one they did. Yeah,
that one was great.
Yeah. And Behind the Music was that way as well.
Oh, I loved it.
That was fascinating.
I loved it. I did. I was in Behind the Music.
You were? For what?
Me and Jimmy Kimmel did a Korn Behind the Music when the band Korn was super popular. We did a send-up on us being in the band Korn, or the forgotten foot soldiers of Korn. Like we were original.
You were cut from the band
members.
Just before the hit. You're the best of Korn.
Nice.
Yes. Well, yeah, you can start it from the beginning, sir.
That's great.
I just love this bit. I want to hear it.
Korn. Their legion of fans know them as hard-edged rock music visionaries. But what they don't know is this seemingly invincible band was nearly torn apart by the two members who helped bring them together. Tonight, Korn, the story beneath the music. Our story begins with Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, two wide-eyed, idealistic sophomores from Bakersfield High.
Believe it or not, when we were in high school, we didn't get a lot of girls.
It's true. I can't explain it, but we didn't.
No, and there were these guys in school, and they had a band, and we figured if we got in the band, it'd be good for the chicks. They'd flock to us like mice on
tuna.
On tuna, yeah.
The guys in the band, they were huge fans of our music.
I guess they knew we had something special to contribute.
Adam's dad had a van, and we had a lot of equipment to carry. And Jimmy.
Well, he's a clarinet.
We were pretty high.
But the combination of the band's talent and Adam's dad letting them use his van worked. They started small, high school dances, pep rallies, bar mitzvahs, and eventually grew to concert halls, arenas, and bar mitzvahs. Together, they took the music industry by storm. Rock radio caught on, and soon sold-out concerts turned into massive hit singles, millions of albums, and thousands of adoring fans. But Adam, and especially Jimmy, did not handle success well.
We wrote the song Freak on a Leash one night after Jimmy. Well, let's just say he was tripping pretty hard.
Either he was on drugs or ate some spoiled bologna or something. I'm not sure, but he was out of it.
He thought he was a dog. He was running around the dressing room, biting people, humping legs.
He pees on everybody. It's high.
The background music was great. The
klezmer music.
What is it called?
Hava Nagila.
Yeah, Hava
The
Nagila.
klezmer music.
Rock and roll. It's a guitar, hard rock version of it. That was great. Hey, let me ask you a question. Speaking of Jimmy, so Crank Yankers is back?
Crank Yankers is back.
Is it you and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Finally, puppets back on top of the world.
I have puppets. I do voices. I love that show.
Maybe you've heard.
Can I would love to help out.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, we already shot the first few episodes.
Yeah, well, there's going to be more, right?
Oh, I have to get renewed.
It's September 25th at 10:30 on Comedy Central after South Park. If
You know, I
guys
have
wanna
4
check
of
it out.
the top record-breaking records on Comedy Central. They used to like me over there.
Yeah, you know what?
Adam gets it.
At our next Crank Yankers meeting, you're right. The only guys, I'm trying to think of who I wrangled for Crank Yankers, at least in season 1.
For this year?
Well, now it's all the Tiffany Haddishes and stuff like that. Like they're getting the young, cool kids in there.
Also, there are guests on the show besides you guys.
I mean,
yeah. They got other people. Yeah,
ostensibly in the future. If the show does well.
Oh yeah, Leno, Bernard, the mechanic who doesn't talk very much. Oh yeah, they're all on. A lot of the guys who work at that shop are there. Yeah, the guy brought you here today. That guy sitting over there, he's in there.
He's doing one right now.
Remember his name, but he's funnier than you thought.
I used to love that show.
Yeah, we just kind of, I don't know. Season 5 or 7, or I don't know how many.
One of the odd numbers.
One of the odd numbers. Yeah, who's on it this year? Do you know, Max Paddock?
This year, I was looking at for your season 1 ones first.
It was weird. Crank Yankers was weird because there were people on the show like. Had this weird thing like Dane Cook, comedian, was on the show before Dane Cook was Dane Cook. And there were comedians that were like, I don't even know this guy's name.
Right.
And then there were other people that were like, you're Wanda Sykes and your Sarah Silvermans and that kind of stuff.
You'd have to get the talent to go to Las Vegas. How often are you there?
You'd have to.
20, 25 times a year. It's just hard to find the talent out there in Vegas.
Willing to make the drive.
And again, you have to have a certain familiarity with the puppets and a sort of a comfort level and an experience, So
it wouldn't work out for me.
Not now.
I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm saying it's less of a chance.
Who do we have a lot of folks that have a lot of puppet history this year, right?
Sarah Silverman, Tracy Morgan, Kathy Griffin.
All puppets, yep.
All puppeteers.
Tiffany Haddish, Will Forte.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the marionettes.
Nick Kroll, Jimmy O. Yang,
Sure.
Laura Howery, Aubrey Plaza, Abby Jacobson, Dimitri Martin, Bobby Moynihan, Kevin Nealon.
Well, you think puppets, you think Dimitri Martin.
Right.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
you know the meme of Homer backing into the bushes? That's the one I just sent you guys.
All right, but if we do, what season are we in? Season 5?
What?
Season 5? I don't know.
We're just counting this as another
5.
season?
I guess. We took
how long has it been since it was on the air? Or since it was new?
It started in 2007.
What?
Did?
No.
Oh, sorry. Season 4 ended 2007. Yeah. This is season 5. They're calling it season 5.
All right. We're in season 5. That's what I know.
All right.
Yeah. Mailbox.
And how many episodes of season 5 are there?
Thank God for the Ultranet. We'll find out all this stuff. I'm not a puppeteer, but I was able to do a couple of phone calls this year. Sorry, Jeff. Season 6 for sure.
I'm
bringing you up at the meeting.
I'll keep practicing.
Definitely keep asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to kind of keep yourself on his radar.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. Where were we?
Well, speaking of TV shows, a little bit of TV Roundup news. NBC Universal's newly named streaming service, Peacock, is teaming up with Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley for a new Saved by the Bell series.
Oh, boy.
Sources say the streamer is in talks with other cast members like Mark Paul Gosselaar. And listen to this plot. The new straight-to-series comedy explores what happens when California Governor Zach Morris gets into hot water for closing too many low-income schools and proposes the affected students be sent to the highest-performing schools like Bayside High, where they all went. And I'm sure hilarity will ensue from that. Guess what else is getting a reboot? Hogan's Heroes.
Crank Yankers.
Hogan's Heroes. Yeah.
1960s Hogan's Heroes being rebooted.
Doesn't there have to be nostalgia for something for it to come back?
Well, they're totally, I mean, this isn't going to sound like the Hogan's Heroes of yore.
Yeah, they're not doing Nazis.
No.
Again, what is it now?
Well, this one, the reimagined version, will be a single-camera action-adventure
are they in
comedy.
Afghanistan or something?
No, set in present day, focusing on the descendants of the original heroes, now scattered around the world,
sure they're all good
who
friends.
team up for a treasure hunt.
Jesus fuck.
What?
There's this weird thing. It's look no further than Land of the Lost or Sigmund and the Sea Monster. They made a movie with Will Ferrell called Land of the Lost. Nobody liked Land of the Lost. Understand TV. When I was a kid, daytime TV was like magazines at a tire rotation center. It's like, whatever. Any port in a storm.
It was Sig and Marty Krofft.
It's like a trade. Have like a trade magazine. It'd just be sitting there, and the guy goes, "It's going to be about 40 minutes," and you're like, "Well, let me learn about balancing and aligning a McPherson strut car." It's like it was just the magazine that was there. It was essentially in prison, and you'd be surprised at what you'll watch or what you'll read when there's nothing else going on in your life.
That is true.
I've read cereal boxes just because there's nothing else going on, you know? And that's what daytime TV used to be. And Sid and Marty Krofft were colossal hacks, and they made junk. And you just sat there and went, well, I guess this is my punishment in life. I have to watch. It's on. I'm not going to go in my room and read the Hardy Boys. I have to go watch this. And that's what I did. And then they made a movie. And then
the numbers showed that everyone was watching it.
But what I would say is there is a high recognition level as Saddam Hussein. You know, he's left-handed. The point is this. I say you could take the entire planet and anyone who's ever walked the planet, including people that were born when I began this conversation, and you could put them in one of two camps, and that is all. The people who have never heard of Land of the Lost, and the people who have and fucking hated it. That's all. That's all. Those are the only two groups. Okay, Sid and Marty Krofft. They made it.
They liked it.
Okay, they didn't even like it, but they profited fine. Those are the two groups. Why now must we make a move? It's like saying Ford's bringing back the Pinto. It's like, okay, two groups. Person that's never heard of the Pinto, people that hate the Pinto.
Have been injured in a Pinto.
That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
And Hogan's Heroes, there's a little more gray area, but nobody wants to watch it.
There's no appetite.
We're forced to watch it.
Again, I say this many times. I would love to have been in the pitch meeting for Hogan's Heroes.
The new one or the old one?
The old one.
Yeah.
The old, hey, here's something really funny. It's about a concentration camp.
I'm loving it.
To be fair to the producers of the Hogan's Heroes series, it was a prisoner camp. Like it wasn't it was a POW. It wasn't full oven Auschwitz-y kind of thing. Still weird.
It's a subtext.
It wasn't Bergen-Belsen, but it wasn't great.
Right. And they would constantly threaten to send Klink to the Russian front. That was the big threat. The general would come in, Klink, you're going to the Russian front. And that was the big That was the big joke. All right, Gina, let's do one more.
All right. Well, we'll end on a little happy note from a former guest here of the show. Dwayne Dog the Bounty Hunter Chapman was released from the hospital late Monday and is now resting at home in Colorado, according to TMZ. Doctors performed a variety of tests and believe the 66-year-old's medical episode was related to stress and blood pressure, but not a heart attack. He did not have a heart attack. Chapman's confirmed to Us Weekly earlier on Monday that he was under doctor's care and resting comfortably after a little episode that sent him over to the hospital.
Can I say this? I like Dwayne, but when I got my hand palm surgery, they needed my underpants. And I was like, I like my underpants, especially when I'm being put under.
Sure.
And they're like, nah, you got to get naked.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, first off, they lay out like you're on the cross. I'm like, how far away you guys away from my groin? Well, can I keep my underpants? And they said it was a fire hazard.
What?
Yeah. I said,
that package is hot.
I was like, yeah, I know. It's like, I'll sign the waiver. But they're like,
what do you think I'm packing down there?
No, we need, it's a fire issue. Like, yeah, take the underpants off. Whatever.
Amazing.
I don't know. Elastic, static. Who knows? I feel like Dwayne, he needs to shave his head before he goes in and has anything seriously done. Well, look, you got to put a hairnet on if you work at
a
shower cap.
taco stand or something. Like something's got to be done. That's just too much fire hazard. There's too much electricity buzzing around that place.
You're right.
That's just a lot of hair to be in that setting.
That's a very observant point. Yeah.
I wonder if they put a bag on their heads.
Well, maybe over their hair. I mean,
oh yeah, not the whole head.
Yeah,
you're right.
Did you have the full hand surgery? Because my mom had exactly what you had done.
Oh, really?
She has the same, because you have Dupuytren's, right?
No, that's something I have now. Before I just had a ganglion cyst. I had a huge cyst. Now I have.
My mom was a boxer too.
But did
boxing
how did her hand surgery work out?
Great. She gets shots in her hand all the time. She doesn't complain about it. You'd never know about it. She's badass. I would be telling you all the time and never stop.
But she had surgery. See,
she did
I
hand
can't
surgery.
straighten my fingers out.
She has
this is Jeff's worst nightmare.
Oh, it is. You're creeping me out. It's my whole life.
She had that hardcore indent. It started concaving.
Yeah.
Like her hand kind of started falling apart. But she's good now.
I have that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes it harder for me to perform sex acts on myself, with the Dupuytren syndrome,
Jeff, are your hands insured?
No, they're not. I have two, so it'd be a waste of money. I just, that's when my one terror, because I build things too, and I have power tools, and I build all the dummies, and it's a lot of dangerous stuff, so I'm very, very, very careful and cognizant of that stuff. So, when I hear about hand surgery, just...
yeah.
So, thanks for that.
But I love that you do all your puppets, man.
I do all my puppets.
Cool.
I do all my puppets.
Hold on.
I do. Yeah, I do. I build them all, and I love doing it. I'm building one right now. So, yeah, I came here to do this and interrupted the building of the puppet thing.
We'll let you
thanks for that.
Get back to doing the Lord's work of building puppets and buying Batmobiles.
And filming women that don't know when the dummy moves by itself.
That's right. Very controversial. So Kevin Hart has a porn film that's out, or it's not out?
This one really flew under the radar.
Yeah. Don't know. That was the first I heard about it.
Chris is taking a safe search off. Hold on.
All right. Let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Get off the cross, honey. Somebody needs the wood.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.